I'm Julia.
And I'm Sue.
And welcome to A Whole Lot of Craft. Today, on episode 69, we're going to be doing some book reviews and also talking about the things that you haven't seen in the month we've been away. Join us!
Welcome back.
Hi. It's been a long summer.
It has been a long summer. Is it fall?
Well, yeah.
It's fall already.
I think, unfortunately, the last time we recorded was actually the beginning of September. It's been a while. So, our apologies. Yes. Though, you probably, because I was kind of bad about releasing them as well. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it kind of has. So, that's okay. Life does happen.
It does. There's been a lot of life happening lately.
What have you been up to in our hiatus?
You mean craft-wise?
Well, no, in general. Like, what, have you been doing anything exciting?
Lots of working. I did build a loft for my son's room.
Oh, it's all done?
It's all done.
Very
yes.
good.
Well, my brother built the loft. I just stained it and sanded it and all that good stuff, and it's in the room and it looks gorgeous.
There's little gnats, I'm sorry.
And these are yeah, those are hand signals. Land the ship. So yeah, I've been working on that. I started a bullet journal.
Oh, fun. I hear a lot about them, but
Do you?
I've never tried one.
You know, I saw it when I was on vacation, and when I was on vacation I actually had time to read about it, and I was a little overwhelmed by it. If you Google bullet journal, you will be completely overwhelmed.
Okay.
Because some people really, really do them up, and they're extremely artistic.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you think, how would I get enough time in the day to even write out October in that font and color it?
Okay.
And so I had read about it, and a friend of mine, it made me think of a friend of mine immediately. And a couple weeks ago I was talking to her, and I was like, oh, I saw this bullet journal thing, and it made me think of you. And she said, oh, I've been doing it, and I love it.
Oh.
And so it's something you can make as expansive or not expansive as you would like.
Okay.
And so the concept of it being, you have one place
Yes.
where you keep all your stuff. Now, granted, I still do my calendar on my phone.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of a journal, but I'm not going to sit and journal every night.
Oh, is that like what it's supposed to be, kind of like a diary journal too?
It's supposed to be, like the big concept is it's your calendar.
Okay.
It's your planner for today, tomorrow, next week, 5 years from now.
Oh.
It's where you keep all your notes, like you went to a PTA meeting this week, tonight I'm going to a softball meeting.
Okay.
And it's a journal for, this is what I did today.
Okay.
This is what I was happy about, this is what I was sad about, or whatever. But it's all in one place.
All right.
So the concept of it all being in one place is kind of, I used to do that back in the day when I was a reporter.
Yeah.
I had one steno notebook that I would go, and it was just everything went one after another, and I always knew, well, it has to be here. It was between this event and this event. So
that makes sense that you'd have it all right there.
I was thinking about that recently, like, I have all these notebooks going for different organizations. What if I put it in one, go back to that concept? So, it was one of those, the stars aligned, because my friend's like, oh, well, I don't do it up like they do, online. So it's an interesting concept. And, I started using it. Maybe I'll photograph a few pages.
Bullet because of the little dots?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, people who get really into it, there's all these little icons.
Oh.
For, like, this icon means to do. This icon means to call. This icon means I migrated it from this month to next month because I never got it done in September. So I migrated it to October.
Okay.
I crossed this off because I decided it wasn't important.
Okay.
And some of it is also, I guess, part of the interesting concept of that part of it, because it has these different parts, is it also helps to show you what your habits are, so you get rid of some of them.
Oh.
Like maybe you always put on your to-do list this particular thing and you never do it. So do you really just need to not have that on your to-do list anymore?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Or does it need to become more important?
Okay.
So It is intimidating when you look at it online, but if you look at the original, it's very streamlined. And like I like the diary part of just like sometimes I think to myself, gosh, like, you know, in 5 years, am I going to remember going to my kid's Halloween parade?
Yeah.
That sort of thing where you want to kind of capture those moments somehow, but I don't want to sit down and write a diary where you bullet it. Literally. It's like, went to Halloween parade, had fun.
Okay. Yeah, I did that kind of through a blog a while ago where I had almost a daily, it wasn't a daily, but I would talk about like when the kids were really little, this month, here's what you're doing, you know, so I have a little bit of a record, but I have, except for calendars, I've never been good at to-do lists and things like that. It's just not. Right. And my husband's a big get things done guy.
Right.
Have you heard of that? GTD. And so he's like, just get it out of your head and get it on the paper, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. It's gone, and you can free your mind for other things. I think in theory,
I don't think that works for everybody.
I think in theory it's great, but yeah, I process by talking.
Right.
So but he's over there going, oh my gosh, you've said this 17 times. Can't you just write it down?
Right.
But
right.
So I don't know, maybe, but it's worth a shot, I suppose.
I
if
think
it's something that you want to try.
It is. I mean, it's one of those things. It's a new thing, so it takes work.
Yeah.
The important thing is that you have this index.
Oh, okay.
Where you write down, so you can go in and be like, oh, you know, this is my fitness is tracked on page 14, or the October PTA meeting is on page 24.
Oh.
So that when I go back and I'm like, oh, they said something about this. I know it's in this book.
Okay.
And I know I can go back to it, and also you have just kind of a record of your life.
Yeah.
You end up, you know, so it's an interesting concept. I've been really like, I don't necessarily use it like my calendar like some people do. I've tried to use it a little bit for future planning. Like in 6 months, I'd like to do this. But really, I use it a lot for, I think sometimes when you're really busy and you have a to-do list and you don't get stuff done, it's important for you to remember what you did get done.
Yeah.
And you don't do that unless you sit down and write it down.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you know, I was going to do blah, 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 blah. I got none of those things done. Why is that?
What did I do?
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you think, I didn't do anything today, but obviously you did something. And then you realize you did, all these other things to go over here because you had to put out this fire. And, you chose to spend time with a friend rather than doing laundry. And I think those things are as important as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I think one of the interesting things about this that is, I guess, one of those things that we forget is the idea that it's never complete, and that's okay. So you could go back when you have time. You could go back to a page and make it pretty if you choose, or you can go back and finish some ideas that you started. Where a lot of times we think of a journal as like, I have to write down today what I did and it's done. Yeah. And we don't think of going back to it and saying, oh, right, this happened, or, you know, like 2 days later you remember, oh, right, I also did this, or in retrospect, wow, it was so great that I did that on that day because this happened. And so there's that concept of going, oh, wait, it's never complete, and that's okay.
Were you a doodler?
I am a doodler.
I wonder if that lends itself to people who are doodlers to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of blogs about it, so it's interesting to read different blogs and see different ways that people have used it, and people who have, you know, trouble with having one system that works for them.
Well, that's worth looking into. Maybe I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Do you have any good links you could post?
I'll have to look, because I just kind of Googled it and would, like, read it on my free time, but I'll have to look. There's a couple, that were really... I can put the original one. Yeah. I don't know if his first name or his last name is Ryder. I can't remember. It was like, you know... That's the other thing about this I like, is it's like you can do it in the in-between moments.
Okay.
Like, you can sit down and you're like, I literally have 5 minutes till the kids come home. I can just jot down what I did today.
Rather than pulling out your phone and playing a video game or...
that. But I don't feel like... I always feel like journaling is like one of those... Now's my time to journal. Yeah. And, you know, no, this is like, I literally have 5 minutes. I'm just going to jot some ideas down, or I have these ideas in my head. I'm going to jot this down, because ideally you have this with you most of the time. Yeah. So, cool. Anyway, it's something different.
Very good.
We'll see how it works. So far, I've been enjoying it.
Good. Yeah.
See if I keep it up.
I know that's always the
Mine's
big
not
thing,
really
right?
fancy. It's really very plain, and once in a while I get out colored pencils and color things. Not very much.
Yeah, the other big thing that I see everywhere is the coloring books for adults, and I think they're beautiful, but I cannot make myself sit down and color one. It's just so tedious, and I feel like I've got so many other things that I've got to do.
That's because this is your coloring.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm over here working on my sweater.
Because
I gotta get
there's
it
a lot
done
of
for
people who are like,
Friday.
I don't understand why people knit because it's how can they sit down? It's so tedious. Or
True, I suppose that's.
How can I find the time to do that in my day? That's your coloring.
All right, I feel better. I guess everyone has their little thing, but
I do. So that, and the only project I've been working on is this is an experiment in a custom piece. Somebody gave me horsehair and wanted me to make pieces. The horsehair was just too short for me to do it, so somebody had suggested needle felting it.
Oh.
So I'm kind of experimenting with that, and I can't decide if I like the front or the back better, actually.
I think I like the front better.
So, yeah, it's different, and it's sticky outy, because that's how horsehair is. But, so I'm trying to deal with that. I'm kind of putting the hair on, and then just putting a really wispy piece of wool over top and felting it. So that it stays in place.
It's a combination.
Yes, because if you just do the horsehair, I'm afraid it's just going to come out, and it's also... I don't know. I'm going to try washing it and that kind of felting because I just done needle felting, and then I'm going to try, washing it, and a lot of times that will felt it as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's what I've been working on. How about you? You have a million projects.
I do.
going
Well,
on.
not necessarily. Well, I guess kind of. So we've been doing a lot of day trips this fall. We went out to Maker Faire in New York, and which was very cool.
That's so fun. New York City?
Yes, yeah. That's still a new. We've been here. I don't know how many years now. 6 years, and it's still a concept that I can go to New York in one day and come home.
I know.
The same day.
We don't take advantage of it nearly as much as we should.
Yeah, so we drove actually right into the city, which was very cool because normally we stop and take the train in, so you're underground, and driving through all of the infrastructure and the bridges and the tunnels and the oh my gosh, it was pretty amazing. But we went to the festival and learned all kind of technological stuff. I don't know, just so many computerized things and ways to create your own. I don't know. It's that part. The technological part is much more my husband and my kids. Like, they love that kind of stuff. There was like a crafters section where they did actually. There's some there's soap makers, and there was a image transfer station you could try. So that's something I think we should do down the road. That was really neat and really easy. There was a couple of knitters, and some of them were using alternative materials, which was cool. Like, there was a Plarn one, and there was a girl who was knitting with, like, she had recycled yarn and some very just different plied kind of stuff. A lot of jewelry people, recycled spoons, and there was this one girl who had like little tiny. They weren't even that big. They were like a half-inch big terrariums, little teeny terrariums that she had like on a pendant or something.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I almost bought one of those, but there was so much to see by the time we got done. Just like, oh my gosh, I can't even think anymore.
Yeah.
And I just spent a whole ton of money a couple weeks before at New Jersey Sheep and Wool, and I knew that Rhinebeck was coming up, and I'm spending the weekend with my mom. We're gonna not just do Rhinebeck for the whole weekend, but we're gonna go for a good portion of one day, and then just do some hiking and other stuff in the region.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and we're gonna stay at bed and breakfast, which is always nice to not have to cook or anything for an entire weekend. So yeah, that'll be really fun too. Yeah. And then my son's birthday was yesterday, so that was crazy.
Do you have a sweater? Did you make
I
him a sweater?
do. Yep, I do. I brought that. And actually, this is the reason I've been working so hard, is because he said he was flipping through pictures looking at what he wanted, and he said he saw his 1-year-old birthday sweater, and he goes, I want that. I'm like, oh, are you serious? It's for a 1-year-old, and it was one I had designed. So he's like, you can just make it bigger, right? Like,
I love it. Of course you can, Mom.
He has such confidence in me. So.
He does, because he knows you can do it.
Yeah, and I did. So
of course you did.
So here it is.
That's the 1+ sweater. That's
So,
what we should call it, 1+.
1+. Actually, the original one was called the Ewok sweater, because that was his nickname when he was little. So I was trying to decide if I should call it like Revenge of the Ewoks, or I don't even know.
Waka waka waka.
I don't have a good name for it. I looked up the Ewok language online to see what Big Brother was in Ewok. So I might have a really weird name, but that's it. It's just real simple. It's ribbed. It's got 3 colors.
Can't be any weirder than the names in our book reviews.
True,
today.
true. Cables down the sleeve, cable down the front.
Oh, it's so cute.
So yeah, and he loves it. I can tell he likes these things because all of his clothes, when he gets done with them, his laundry goes on the floor. This was in a drawer. He put it in a drawer to keep it clean.
Oh, that's so cute.
So yeah, so this one I just got to write it. It's all written on paper. I just have to write it in the computer, and then it will be available for testers and for people. So that was really exciting. There's the back.
I like the cable down the front.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's already got icing on it from his party.
Then you know it was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, we took the little guys to laser tag.
Fun.
So, woo, that was great. But yeah, so that's the big thing I did, and then the other big thing, I guess I might as well show it since I was working on it. This is my Rhinebeck sweater that needs to be finished by Friday, and today is
At the bottom of that.
Is
So
it Tuesday
pretty.
today?
Sure. If you tell me it's Tuesday, I'll believe you.
So I'm like,
You'll be done.
see, sleeve. I've got a little bit more of the sleeve to go, and then I have this sleeve to go, and then it's finished.
So basically, you're gonna say, "Mom, we can't do anything till I'm done with this.
Yeah.
You can drive me around wherever you want, but I can't get out of the car until I'm done."
I think I'll get it done because I did this whole thing yesterday.
You'll get it done.
It's bulky. It's big and cozy. I think it's supposed to be like 65
Why don't
this
you
year,
just do
though.
one arm and call it fashion?
I could, I suppose.
I'm
But I'm
doing something different.
enjoying it. It's got this really neat, it's called Karst, Karst. And it's got this really cool cable feature
That
that
means
runs.
something in German. I can't think
Is
of what
it?
it is. Yes.
Well,
I'll have to look it up.
it's by Laura Ayler, so you guys can check it out if you want to. But I just really liked this detail. It runs all down the front
It
edge.
is. It's really pretty.
I'm hoping, because this is not 100% wool, so I'm hoping it blocks out nicely and
And
lies good.
somehow, is the weather supposed to stay cool?
I think it's supposed to be kind of like
So
this.
it will be appropriate.
I think so. I know, for the
I know
first
that's
time.
always a problem.
It is. You never know really
Because
what
when
it's
you
going to be
start
like.
it, you don't
Yeah.
know if it's going to be cold or hot.
Yeah, and last year it snowed, and I literally had everything I brought on at once because I didn't want to wear a coat. I wanted to show off the sweater, so I had like
That's
4
so
layers
funny.
underneath the sweater. I probably looked like the
Stay
abominable
Puft
snowman.
Marshmallow Man?
Yes, except I was orange. So I don't know.
That's so funny.
It was appropriate. I was a pumpkin for the season.
Yes.
So those are the big things I've been working on. But I did do some buying. If you want to see what I bought.
I would love to see what you bought. This is from New Jersey Sheep and Wool?
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
I did buy a bunch
All right,
from
I
there.
have to take a swig of coffee.
Sure.
See this. Fluffy talk. Here we go.
So I did buy a bag from Toad Hollow. I just thought it was super cute.
That is really
I really
cute.
like little birds.
Oh, wow. Is there this so you can pull your yarn through the
Yeah,
hole?
you can if you want to. I don't ever do that because I change projects too fast. Because I don't finish them and I need to use the bag for something else. So it's not because I'm speedy, but because so it's got a polka dot inside, which I think
Oh,
is
that's
really
really
cute.
cute.
So I got that little bag, and inside is my attempt on one of the knits for later. Oh, that's yours.
Thanks. We'll see if it ends up back in your bag again, because that's how I got to your house in the first place.
I was on a deep fall kick, so I bought this really cool gradient. It's got
Ooh.
all these colors of blue-gray, which I thought was beautiful. It's got merino, cashmere, and nylon.
I like the name Marinated.
Yeah, marinated
Like-
yarns.
Like a play on marinated.
Right. I think her name is Mariana. Marian? Anyway, because it's highlighted.
Marian. Madame Librarian.
So, but these were fun, and it's called the Rock Quarry colorway. So there's igneous, moon rock, I got rock, spelunking, rock lobster, and stone basin.
You guys,
So,
you knitters and
I
your funny
know.
puns. Your punny.
I gotta find something cool for that though. I love the colors.
That is really pretty.
So I got that, and then the fall screamed at me again, and I got that. It did. I walked in there. I'm like, this has blue, and gray, and brown, and orange. I mean, how could you not?
It's that time of
I
season.
don't know. This is from Crabapple Yarns. It's called Fox Whelp. and it's merino, and must be nylon, and it's tweed on top of it all.
Wow.
So isn't that cool?
It is really cool.
Yeah, and I
This is
didn't bring
Julia
it.
colors.
Yeah, it is my colors. I didn't bring it, but at her neighboring booth I bought a Portuguese knitting necklace. That's very cool. It's got these like little swirls in it that you hook your yarn on, and that's what tensions the yarn in Portuguese knitting. So now I have to figure out how to do that. And once I do, I'll show you guys. But I
That's
haven't
fun.
yeah, it was kind of neat. So I got those, and then I bought a new sock blank from Knits for Comforts, which is I just love it. You can't go wrong with a sock blank. There's a million colors, and I don't think I've described this to you before, but
You did one
did
before.
because I've got one
Right,
started.
because you take the yarn
Yes,
out.
you pull it off,
Oh, so
and then you reknit it.
You took before and after pictures of it, right? The
Yes.
one that you started?
Yes.
Because I'm interested to see what it looks like when it's done.
I got
I
it
have a
partly
hard
done.
time
I'll show you.
imagining what it's going to be like when it's done. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's very multicolored, but
Yeah, it's much more textury, speckly looking,
okay.
I think. So, but this is merino nylon too, so I'll be making something with that.
Fun.
Yeah, you know how it is. And then this I thought was really cool. I thought you would even get a kick out of this. This is from Katrinkle's Knitting Jewelry, and they're bamboo, and there's holes in it. And what you do is you use embroidery floss or yarn, and you sew patterns on it. So,
Oh, neat.
so here's the little card. Oop, I just ripped the bag. Can't get it open. So like you can make different patterns.
Oh,
and the big
interesting.
one is like a loom. So you would like make a cross and then
Right.
weave
Okay,
in it.
so you could almost do like a dream catcher or
yeah,
a
or
star
Christmas ornament or
like-
something. Yeah.
Oh, that is really interesting.
So yeah, and I got a couple different
Pattern.
formations. I got
Formations.
the
Okay. Oh, interesting.
so one with the circles in the center, and then two with the circles on the outside. And she had some really neat ideas I took pictures of.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Wow,
all of
and the
them I
buttons
think
can
are.
even go in the washer and the dryer.
I know.
Do you want that in there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm always up for trying something new, and I like to do things from local people. And all of these guys are relatively local, with them being right in New Jersey. So
Nice.
yeah, so I got those at the festival, and that was a good day. The kids and I took the girls down, and they bought stuff too.
So what are you going to
So-
buy at Rhinebeck?
I have a desire to get some eggplant yarn. This really, like, if I
So
can find
yarn
it.
that's eggplant color or made out of eggplant?
I suppose it's possible.
It is.
So
It's
eggplant
biodegradable.
color. I really have been looking for years. I've been looking for this, like almost like the color of a Merlot or dark red wine, a deep purple eggplant. But I think it's hard to. Like I just
Create?
haven't found, and I want it to be more solid than not, like tonal. So I think I have a lead, maybe. So I'm gonna go check that out. That's one, and then there's another. There's a girl who's selling gradients, but they're variegated gradients. So that I'm intrigued by. But I don't really have a plan on anything specific I have to get, like for a project in mind. It's just, we'll see what
That's
happens.
the most dangerous time, I think.
know.
When you're like, I'm looking for X, and then you go through every booth looking for X. I think that the other impulse buys don't stand out as much. When you have nothing, you're like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. Oh,
I know.
That's pretty.
Well, there's a girl who has a booth, and maybe, I don't know if she'll be there this year because I can't remember the name of it, but she sells these gray felted bags. And they're like really thick, sturdy bags. And she does, I think it might be needle felting, or maybe she embroiders the felt on. But it's got like these kind of abstract polka dotty things that she sticks on. And they're just really cool looking. And I've always gone in there and been like, oh, I can't afford this if I'm going to get XYZ. So I might get one of those this year. Because they've been calling my name the past few years. So if I find that, I might get one of those. Wait, my mom has an agenda too, and I sent her the vendor list, and she picked out a bunch of places she wants to go. So we're gonna hit those, and one of them's a bronze worker, and there's a potter she wants to go see. So yeah, there's gonna be some. I think she's gonna pull me away from what I usually do, which is good. We have our.
That's an interesting way to, when you go with someone else.
We all have our comfort zones. We kind of know what we like to look at, and So I'll take her to some of my places, and she can take me to the ones she wants to go. And
Sounds like a fun mother-daughter weekend.
yeah, we do this every once in a while, and it's been a couple years since we've gone somewhere together. So I'm pretty excited.
So when you were talking about your maker fair and using different materials, it reminded me that I saw a link recently, I want to say it was on Facebook or something, of I think someone local in our area who's taking plastic bags and crocheting them into mats to give out to homeless people.
Oh, wow. That's a really
If
good
I can
idea.
find the link, I will post it on our blog.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Because it's kind of, I mean, there's so many plastic bags. It's not that hard to make the
Absolutely.
yarn, the plarn to do that with.
All right, so we're ready to move on to book reviews?
Yeah. So a couple months back, we were given a bunch of Cooperative Press books, and we've slowly been working our way through. So our last two that we have to review are actually both about stranded mittens. Yeah. So yeah, and I like how these topics kind of go together, and it's the perfect time of year to start working on projects like that for Christmas, or just to keep yourself warm, because that's always good. So we are going to be looking at a couple of those books, and we'll be right back. So the two books we have to review today are SpillyJane Knits Mittens by SpillyJane, and then also Aurora Borealis Mittens by Shannon Oki. Like I said, both of them are based on stranded techniques, but have a little bit of a different vibe to them. So we're going to start with SpillyJane.
We have them open on our devices. That's why we keep looking down.
Yeah, we don't have the hard copies, just the digital.
Yes. And we're going to actually be giving away the digital copies,
As
too.
with all of the other reviews we've done, Cooperative Press has been generous enough to have a copy ready for you guys. So when we're finished with our review, we'll put up a thread, and then you guys can sign up to win your own copy.
Yep.
So what do you think of SpillyJane?
I like her name.
Yeah, I know. It always caught my eye too. Years ago, because she did some, I think she did some socks too, and also some other mitts that weren't included in the book. And they have one has little beer pints on them, and there's just she's got some very cute, creative ideas.
I like how she shows all the different ways of doing the thumb.
Yes.
Which is interesting as a person who doesn't knit much. Like seeing the gusseted thumb where you basically make a sock almost, or a fingerless glove,
Right.
and then you put the thumb in, is really interesting.
Yeah, and she has an afterthought version as well, which is kind of neat.
Right. Which have you ever done either of those?
I have done gussets before, where it makes a little triangle around your thumb. But yeah, that's probably what I mostly have done, because then you can choose to add the thumb on after, or just leave it open if you're doing the endless variety.
Right.
Yeah, I think that a lot of her patterns, hers were inspired by architecture mostly. So she's got some that, if you look very closely, you can see, yeah, that's definitely a window, or that's definitely an iron grate. And I like where she picks her inspirations from. So on top of her architectural ones, she's got some really whimsical ones. She's got ones with penguins, which I thought were
and you
kind of
can't
cute.
actually it's one of those it's like one of those paintings where you can't see the image, and then once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yes, yeah.
So at first it just looks like a
kind of
duplicate, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I see the penguins, and then you can't unsee them anymore. You're like, darn it, I want to see the pattern again.
My kids really like the cupcake ones. They thought that was great.
I like these. I don't know what they're called.
Oh,
Abney
yes,
Park.
Abney Park. Yeah, they're really pretty. They remind me of the New Orleans gate
Her
work.
her choice of colors is interesting. It's sort of very almost 70s retro, but not that dark, I guess. It doesn't have the same hue, but like the browns and yellows and greens.
Yes.
They're all very, I don't know what the word is for it, because I never say the right word when it comes to color. There's shade and there's tone and there's tint.
Right.
So they are sort of a little retro, but not in a wow, she just stepped out of the 70s kind of way.
Yeah. Well, and some of those colors are definitely coming back around, so it's nice to see them used in combination. I think we all have our favorites, but it's, to pick colors and be inspired by a combination sometimes can be hard.
Right.
It can be hard to find the right grouping.
Right. So hers like you said, are inspired by architecture, but at the same time, they're kind of all over the place as well. Mm-hmm. You know, you can find, I think, mittens in here that could appeal to almost everyone you know.
I agree.
You know, because there's so many different, very different patterns that you could see, like, oh, that would be great for my mom, that would be great for my dad, that would be great for my kid, my daughter or my son. So,
and there's 2 pairs that I could see that would lend themselves very well to using up leftovers. The plain blue mitts and the plain brown mitts are just variations on striped themes.
Right.
And how, you know, you could take some of your favorite sock yarn and turn those into a very fun pair of mittens. And they wouldn't take very long. Both of those are fingerless, so that would be super easy. And I like the different thumb on the plain blue. It's not even really an afterthought. There's not a gusset or anything. It's just like a ribbed thing.
Right.
So it would just kind of cuddle your thumb.
Right. Right. So those are like early autumn mitts.
Yes.
Right this time of year.
Yes.
And then you can, you know, get ones that are longer and longer till you have the full mitt.
And you know what I like to do with those too is if you make them a little bit big, you wear them over top of a glove, and that'll give you an extra layer. So the fingerless ones are nice for that too. Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Well, like it said, I like the Abney. Wasn't Abney Park?
Abney Park.
Yeah, I really like that, and I like the one that was called. I just forgot the name of it. Where's the? I like this one. I can't remember.
Oh, Decadence.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's really pretty too.
How about you? Which ones are your favorites?
I like Midtown with the triangles.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I don't like about that is
architectural.
they're so pointed.
Yeah, the mitts
I'd like to see them on a hand because that to me looks like it's going to be like sticky uppy up here. But you could always modify that a little bit.
Yes.
So I like that, and then I do like the plain blue, the striped, because I can see myself using up my leftovers.
Actually, the plain brown striped ones look to me. Actually, those look like your kids.
I agree.
Especially your son.
Yeah.
It's the colors he would pick.
Yeah.
It
would go with the sweater.
Uh-oh, next project.
No, I have to move on to the other birthday sweater. We're getting off
Christmas
topic.
present.
So yeah, but I would certainly recommend the SpillyJane mitts. I know that her patterns have a loyal following, and people do really enjoy them. And she's had
other books as well.
Right, well, at least other patterns, if not other books. But yes.
Oh, yeah, did we review one of her books before?
I don't think so.
Maybe it's just that I keep looking at this one.
Well, she's got 75 patterns on Ravelry of all kinds of different things. So yeah, if you don't find something in the book,
are most of her patterns mittens?
No, mittens and socks. I think those are the ones that are most often seen. I'm looking to see if there's anything else real quick. Yeah, I think it's mostly mittens and socks, but very interesting. So if you don't find one in her book, I'm sure you would find one individually. This book runs on Ravelry. Let me get back to the page. I'm sorry.
So yeah, you can purchase the book on Ravelry, but we're going to be giving away a copy as well.
Correct.
And the next one we're going to review, we're going to give a copy of that.
Right.
Go ahead.
So you can buy it on Ravelry as a digital download for $16.95. You can also get it in hardcover for $26.95 on Amazon, or you can get it directly from Cooperative Press. You may also, I believe, buy the patterns separately. Let me just click onto here and see if you can do that. No, you cannot buy the patterns in the book separately.
Right. So there's about 12 patterns?
13.
13. So that's less. That's just a little bit more than $1 a pattern,
right.
Which is not bad at all.
Right. So even if you do one or two of these, you're certainly going to get your money's worth. So yeah, I would check this book out.
Yeah.
And the other one we have is Aurora Borealis mittens, and again, they're also stranded, but these are based on more of a Viking theme. She kind of goes through her Nordic inspirations and the backgrounds of why she chose the patterns she did. So it's a little more of a ethnic
twist.
Right.
It reminds me of the sweater book that we reviewed.
Yes.
They're not the same Nordic, and actually her Nordic is much bigger and it includes more Celtic, and she kind of goes into the history of that because she's a recovering history grad, as she likes to call herself. So, from that aspect, it's actually very interesting where she goes deep enough to be interesting, but not be like, okay, I don't really care about history.
Right.
Like some do. So it's fascinating where you're like, I really want to know a little bit more about that, and I'll have to figure that out on my own.
Right.
But I love the patterns in this. I like also her color choices. There, a lot of them, I was trying to pick out my favorites, and I like these, and I can't figure out if it's that I like the color choice or the actual pattern, because it's so me. It's the teal and
the bright orange, right?
Yes, which I don't know. I seem to always be attracted to for some reason.
You know what caught me on that particular pattern is that they did an example of color dominance.
Okay.
Where on one mitten they held one of the colors in front, or it's above and below. When you're stranded knitting, you carry one kind of above and below the other, and you want to keep that consistent throughout, because one of them, I think it's the bottom, becomes more dominant because the stitch is just a tiny bit bigger.
Yeah, she talks about that in the beginning of the book.
And then, but then
do that.
They literally show the two mittens done with the same two colors with different color dominance. And I thought that was so cool because it made it look completely different. I often struggle with, well, do I want the white one to be the dominant color, the white one, the light one, or the dark one, and which one's going to be best? And that was really fun to see how it does change so much.
That pattern's called Sindri?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's my favorite. And again, I mean, I do like the pattern, but I love the colors that she chose because they're really bright and fun. And honestly, I couldn't really pick a favorite out of these because I would wear all of these.
Yeah.
And this would be a great way for me to accessorize my wardrobe. I can wear a different pair of mittens every single day. Well, I wear those fingerless gloves that you made me a pair, my mother-in-law made a pair, and I always get compliments on all of them that I wear. I wore them. Sunday was the first day I wore them this season because it was chilly, and people always compliment me on them, and like they're all different, and but she does some really interesting. She really uses bright colors, but you know, her point too was a lot of people like hand-dyed yarn, and these patterns were made for that. Right.
Yeah, you can definitely use a variegated yarn with a solid and have them look just as good as if you use two solids. There is a couple of patterns in here that I just wanted to point out. Sigrun has a liner, so if you are in a really cold climate, it actually has the different sizes that you can wear together. And then Solveig is a thrummed mitten. Did you know about thrumming?
No.
Thrumming is really cool.
Related to drumming?
No, it sounds like it,
Which
but it's
pattern
not.
is that?
It's called Solveig.
Oh, it's the one with the orange?
Yeah. And what thrumming is you actually knit a piece of roving into the mitt. So the inside, if you turn it inside out, it's like with just little tufts of wool. And I can't describe it. It's almost like when you buy a pair of fleece mittens, like fleece-lined mittens, but it's not a solid piece of fabric. It's just little teeny pieces that over time will kind of felt together. But it makes them so much thicker and so much warmer than a standard mitten. And even so, you know, these being stranded, there's 2 layers of yarn, so these are going to be way warmer than your average.
Have you ever tried it?
No, I have not, but I would like to. I do have some I could probably do it with.
So you said it eventually felt together?
I suppose as long as you're not using a superwash roving, that it would.
Because I'm curious if, like, that would be the kind of thing I would wonder if your rings would get caught in it when you put your ring in.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But they seem like they would just be like the dead of winter. And I prefer to make wool mittens for my kids, but then they go out and play in the snow. And then I'm worried. Are they going to get wet? Is the wool going to be warm? You know, it's supposed to be warm enough, but is it thick enough to keep the wetness away from their hands because they're only 1 layer? These are double thick to begin with because they're stranded. So you already have 2 layers of wool. And then if you thrum it, I can't imagine that snow would get through.
Yeah.
So I may have to try that this winter. Just to see if
it works. Because you don't have anything else to try.
No, once you hit January and the Christmas rush is done, what am I going to do?
I love it. I'll be so bored sitting at home.
And January, February is when the really deep snow hits. So
some of these mittens have the same sort of point as the ones in SpillyJane as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
now I did try to make a pair. I'll show you guys here. I started, and this to me points out color theory a little bit. I pulled out these 2 skeins. This is like a lightish blue-gray. Oops, I'm all tangled.
Uh-oh.
There we go. And then I pulled out an off-white. And together here, I thought it was a good contrast.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dark darkish and a lightish. But when I started to knit them, I only didn't get very far, but do you see the color? I don't think it was obvious enough.
Right.
That the gray variegation, I gotta get this untangled, I'm sorry. There. The gray variegation does not highlight the off-white enough.
Yeah, it kind of is all together.
Yeah.
You can see it there, but over here and stuff, you don't see it. Where
Right.
There's little stitches.
Right. And so I think that's a real important thing when you're making mittens that are stranded or anything that's stranded. Test your colors, and you can sometimes figure out how close they are hue-wise by taking a picture and turning them to black and white.
Oh,
And then you
interesting.
can see, if they coming out at the same level
We should
of.
do that for our listeners.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that with these two just to
Watchers
see, because I'm curious now that I look at them. And I noticed that a little bit with some of these ones here in the Aurora Borealis, the orange and gray and the purple and pink. For me, there wasn't enough contrast between the two colors for me to really see the design.
Okay.
And I think with this kind of thing, I prefer a much higher contrast.
Right.
But the overall designs are beautiful.
They are.
This one
They're
too.
so fun.
The black and blue I thought was a little bit too close in color.
Right. Well, and you can actually really see that when you're seeing it from far away.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's sort of, your thought on taking a picture in general. If you take a picture on your iPhone and then, or whatever, your smartphone, when the picture's this big, what you see is so different than
Right.
when you're holding it up
Right.
in front of your face.
Very true. So yeah, again, I think this book was written very well. I think it had some
So
very
your
good
pattern did
information.
it up really well?
Yeah, it was easy to follow, and she gave a lot of choices in. Here's what you can do if you want to do a braided band, if you want to do a ribbed band, if you want to do there was a lot of different choices you can make to customize, which was really fun. So when I started to knit this, I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? Let me pick. It wasn't just such I guess some people like a recipe and some people like just to be told.
Right. Right.
So, that would be something that would be up to the individual. But I kind of liked having the option that if I wanted to do, this mitt with that cuff,
Right.
you can pull them together in any way. So you can really make it
It's
personalized.
like a smorgasbord of
Yeah.
pieces, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I
if
agree.
you're advanced enough knitter.
I think even you could do it, Sue.
So that's what I
yeah.
tend to do. I don't tend to start, I've made how many half washcloths? Like, probably to really learn. I always do something really hard.
Yeah, well, one of my first sweater projects was a stranded sweater. It was tunic length. It was huge. And I learned a lot because I learned you need to swatch if you want it to fit you and not your roommate. Fit her beautifully. Did not fit me at all. I learned that, the whole color choice thing, some colors just don't show up next to each other. And you
that's the
gotta
hard
know.
part for me.
And it's nice to be able to do that on something small like a mitten before you move on to a sweater and spend 3 months and not get to wear it. I'm not bitter.
Not at all.
No, it's always a learning experience, but if you can do it and have it be a little less painful, that's always a plus.
So, we have these two books and we want to give them away. So I think we should open up a thread on Ravelry and share with us the Knittins your mitten.
The mittens you're knitting. Or that you would like to knit.
Or mitten. The mittens you're knitting or wearing this winter.
Do you want to see the ones from the book that they want to knit? Or
I
just
think
what you're-
anyone.
So, anything you've got, your favorites, maybe?
Yeah, like you could share patterns of mittens that you've knit for little kittens. In the past, you say these are my favorite, or these are the ones I'm hoping to do.
Yeah,
or
that'd be fun
if
to
you're
see.
like me and you're not a knitter, you could say these are the ones I want someone else to make me. or if you have a favorite pair that you have, mittens definitely seem to be one of those things. Like every year, like there's a certain pair that I just attach to.
Yeah.
And I have like all these pairs and I can't get rid of any of them because I love them all. But there's just this one pair. Some of it has to do with what the weather is. But you just keep going back to that one no matter what. And you're like, why did I wear these all this season when I have like 6 pairs I can choose from?
Yeah.
So anyway. So
And it's fun to color coordinate, like you were saying.
It is.
It can be a really fun accessory. You can match your mittens to your hat.
Well, especially because where we live, we walk so much.
Yes.
That it is an accessory. It's not just something to get in the car and get out of the car.
Yeah.
It's like we have to walk to school and walk to work and all that stuff. So it is fun. So yeah, so
Agreed.
share with us what you're wearing or what you're knitting, whether it's from the books or elsewhere.
Yep, and we will do that drawing.
What month are we?
How about 2 episodes from now? So whatever that one happens to be, episode 71 will be the drawing.
Yes. So basically, what is it? The middle of October. So
Yeah.
through the middle of November.
Probably, yeah. Sounds
You
about
we have to give them a deadline to post it.
Somewhere in November. Keep your eyes open.
As you can see, my bullet journal's not really keeping me focused right now.
That's all right. Okay, well,
Just
we've had
start Mitten and Knitting.
Yeah.
Dang it! There's a little poem in the beginning of the Aurora Borealis thing about matching your. Did you see that?
I probably did. I just can't
Matching
think
your.
of it.
I thought it was funny. I don't know if I can find it off the cuff. About something about matching your mittens to your bike or something. Now I can't find it.
No.
Now I can't find it. Anyway, if I find it, we'll have to post it up there. There's something about match your mittens if you like to your bike or something.
That's funny.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
I think it was in this one.
We'll post it up.
Yes.
So, but thanks for coming to watch us again.
Thank you.
And for bearing with us in our crazy absence. And we'll hopefully have a little bit more of a schedule again here coming up soon.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
It's always the dream.
And get knitting on your mittens.
Getting mitten on your mittens.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.